How dare you!
You have stolen my childhood with your honest reviews, and my controller is the best. I will be disliking you till the end.
How dare you!
What?
That speech reflects the growing public outrage.
Not again! What's up YouTube? Welcome to Roman Does Consumer Tips, and today we're looking at quite a few controllers for Nintendo Switch. And this on me is not a parachute, it's not a backpack, this is Woojer. If you want to know what Woojer is, this is a haptic response vest, and the rest I'll tell you about it in my next video. So make sure you hit that subscribe and like button to keep up to date with the video when it comes out. But going back to the controllers, I scavenged them from all corners of Amazon with one sole purpose: to find out if the cheaper ones are worth it and if they're comparable to the more expensive ones. And the results are actually interesting. Here's the price range for all the controllers that I have on my desk right now. So let's see what works and what doesn't. On the first side, all these controllers are identical to each other, more or less, and you would expect them to function in about the same manner. But is it so? Let's find out. Next on my list is another Hori wireless controller, or as they call it, HoriPad, which I think is really bad marketing here because it's definitely on a Hori side compared even to the cheaper models we looked at before. Inside the box you don't really get anything else except from the charging cable. It tells you here that it can work from 10 meters apart from your console, and the battery should last you for about 20 hours of work. There is accelerometer, gyroscope built into the thing. And yes, it does work, it's responsive, but not as responsive as what GameSir provides here for lower price. The overall look of the controller kind of looks like a Xbox controller, but a lot lighter. Somehow these controllers by Hori are very light. I find it not too pleasant to hold it because you want to have a little bit of weight in your hands when you're holding the controller. The thumbsticks on this thing are way too extended out and make the motion range like too big for the console, and I don't think it's initially made like that because the original Joy-Con thumbsticks, they're like on a tiny little leg and they create that smooth and soft motion that this controller cannot provide. So it's practically identical to the shorter version of the Hori controller we looked at earlier. But that's not the worst. The worst part about this controller, it costs pretty much like the Pro controller by Nintendo. However, it has no vibro response whatsoever, just like the shorter version as well. That really stumbles me here because, like, why not? You would want to have that vibration in your hands when you're playing the games, and I don't think there's any game out there that is not made for the vibro response from the game world. And especially in cases like Mario here, you will not be able to play the game while the cheaper controllers provide at least some kind of vibration. With this one, you will not be able to achieve even that level of gameplay that you can with the cheaper controllers. It's also a little bit shaky. So all these buttons in the centers, they're kind of on the cheaper side and definitely don't add any quality sensation to this controller whatsoever. Even the GameSir has the better buttons. The gyro response on this controller is also not as great. You have to shake it a lot harder than, for example, the GameSir, and that really makes it bad. So with that said, the buttons are not too bad, like they're big buttons. I like big buttons on the controllers. Triggers are pretty good as well, but there's no vibration. I also see a lot of resemblance here with the original Pro controller, and I think they're trying to fool you to buy the slightly cheaper version of the Hori controller. It's definitely nowhere close to even the GameSir controller that does a lot more for a lower price. They pretty much copied the location of the connection indicators here. The overall design at the top somewhat looks alike. Even the texture of the grip is somewhat similar. This thing goes to the right section with every other controller that still needs work and should be avoided altogether. Now, before I sum up this video, let's make sure you hit that like and the subscribe button and the bell icon below. Let's tickle those YouTube algorithms and help other people find this video, as I think it would be helpful to many folks just like yourself. Now back to the controllers. As we discovered, the price and brand don't really matter that much when you're buying an additional controller for your Nintendo Switch, but what matters is the vibration response, the built-in gyro, and the overall tactile feel of the controller. And with that said, I have to say that all the Hori controllers turned out to be horrible. Maybe that's why the entire brand is called Hori, but definitely avoid them, they're not worth it and they're on the mid to higher range of the price scale here. At the same time, try to avoid any of the random controllers just like this one, since many of them are poorly made and the overall longevity of this controller are questionable, how long will it last. Then we covered some of these funny shaped controllers by the same company, by the way, who makes one of these. And I can tell you that if you're buying it for the kids, this could be a good choice, as long as your kids are careful with their toys. Then we have one of these controllers that I prefer to like most of this on the table. And for its price, I think it does pretty good job. It feels solid and well built. Definitely something that any user on a budget should check out. Then we have the Pro Controller, the original Pro Controller by Nintendo, and to be honest, I'm slightly disappointed because for the price point it's not really worth it. Yes, it's not as expensive as the Pro Controllers for Xbox, let's say, but still, I personally feel like the original Joy-Cons that come with the Nintendo Switch are doing job just fine. And the only reason why I would choose the Pro Controller by Nintendo over, let's say, the Game Sir, which I really liked, is the vibration. But if your games don't require that specific tactile, precise vibration, then maybe Game Sir is actually a great alternative, because it can be paired with a lot of other devices, it has great sensors built into it for the gyro, and the overall features, even that additional hook for the cell phone, are definitely a plus. So it's unbeatable at its price point across all these controllers, except for the Pro Controller and of course the original Joy-Cons. Here's a quick Roman score for all these controllers. And on that note, I'll see you again. Make sure you're subscribed because some cool videos coming out shortly. See you soon.